Thank you everyone for joining. So today we're having a technical session, which is on Tailwind CSS. So basically, what is actually Tailwind CSS? It's a CSS framework with low utility based classes, which means that it doesn't give any pre-designed UI components or any pre-designed buttons like buttons or alert bars like this kind of. There will be like a specific classes which you will be using or adding in our HTML classes to make any design. We have other frameworks like Bootstrap or Bulma like this kind of, but Tailwind is I think a bit different in this case. Most of the frameworks like Bootstrap come with all sorts of pre-designed components like buttons, cards, and alerts that might help us to move quickly at first, but I think it causes more pain when it comes time to make a site stand out with the custom design. So in that case, Tailwind is different because we can customize it the way we want, and we can make it stand out in with um, with different pages. So to use Tailwind classes is very easy. We just have to add inline classes in our HTML. So we don't have to prepare any other style sheet for CSS. And also we don't have to think about naming any classes because here we will not be writing any CSS styles. But what happening is like we will be adding specific classes instead of writing CSS styles. So there is a basic example of how we can add Tailwind classes in our HTML class. So like if we want to do like background white, we just have to specify those classes in our HTML class around the LG, and if we want to give some padding, yeah, that's it. So this is how we can add a Tailwind class in our HTML. So Tailwind installation part, we can use the CDN which is given there. We can use the CDN and use the Tailwind CSS. But what happens like if we are using CDN, there will be some restriction we can customize Tailwind default theme, and we can use any directives like apply or variance, and we can like enable features like for group hover, and can also install any third party plugins also. So there will be some restriction if we're using Tailwind via CDN. But you can get the we can get all the facilities of Tailwind if you're using it via npm. So installing via npm is easy. Like we just have to add the command line as this command line you for installation via npm, like save dev, which is used to locally store Tailwind in our local project. If we're using yarn, we have to add this command line. So adding CSS in our class, first of all, we have to prepare a source file where we have to add those three components or classes. So what happens like when we add those things in source file, source CSS style, so it gets all the functionalities of Tailwind CSS in our project. But we cannot link it with our HTML file because browser will not understand this. What browser understand as pure CSS styles. So we have to process it through a command line. So this is a command line where we can output our CSS in and the file like a public folder, and then we can just add the link to the public folder or public folder CSS link to our index file. So yeah, that's it. So adding Tailwind to HTML is easy. Like we just have to maintain those directory or those lines like state, separator, and class. We have to, if we're using any like state, we have to specify it. Like if we want to do it for hover, we have to say like hover, then separator, and then specify the classes, and that's it. That's it. How it will work. Responsive nest Tailwind CSS is one of the greatest feature of Tailwind is it's basically mobile first by default. We don't have to think about about a mobile customizer how it's going to look in mobile, because by default is mobile first. Mobile first, it will work for mobile. And if we want to customize for a large device or medium device, we just have to add these classes. If we want to make changes for medium device, we have to add prefix like md. If we want to make it for large device, we have to specify a prefix like lg, and the changes we want will be the classes will be there. So there is an even example of how they have added some flex design or flex classes for medium device, and there is an example of width for medium device. This. So here I'll be giving some example of how we can get card design by using Tailwind very easily, rather than writing CSS. So yeah. So here I have created a small design for like component, like it's for div and some text. So here I'll be, suppose I want to make this as center. So what we'll be doing, like center. Six, we are giving some padding. Okay, then mx, we have to make the center mx auto.
Yeah, you, yeah.
Okay, and then if we want to make some spacing in the top, this. And suppose I want to make it as rounded, so just need to add here g, or rounded full, for full round figure. Okay, for medium device, suppose we want to be like not here, so it will stand by side, like sorry, this is small device, I guess. Yeah, flex. And yeah, think I need some gap here, so margin left 5. Okay, so okay, for small device we don't need those margins, so can specify that by margin. So yeah, and yeah, yeah, so in medium device, like it will be like side by side, in and in small device it will stick. Okay, yeah, this say. And if you want to make it in the middle, we can do that also by here. Footer. And also here we can put like center, so it will be like that. So, and it's also responsive. So yeah, okay, so this is better, basically what I have added like small slide or picture for our understanding. This is what I have done in Copen. This is so responsive. And we can also customize our tailwind classes by default classes, or for this we have to add like npx tailwind init, which will generate a config file from where we can customize the tailwind default classes. We can here is an example of like they have colors. For colors they have, we can add many colors. We can add we can specify different breakpoints also according to our customization. So this is what how we can customize tailwind. So so these are the benefits of tailwind css, what I got to understand. Like so normally whenever we are building a site or website, we are just using writing styles in our css style, so and writing class names, all these stuffs, all this stuff taking time. But in tailwind css we don't have to think about all this naming conversation, or like we have to add another file or style sheet. We just have to add simple classes in our HTML document, which will be easy. And it will also help our CSS file or style sheet to grow, to stop growing, as we are not customizing anything. Maybe we are customizing it, but it will be like very rare. Very rarely will be customizing any CSS here. So our CSS file will stop growing. And here we are, when we want to like customize anything, or whenever we are going right, we like we not will not be able to like we will not be going to write anything in our css file. Rather we'll just be adding those classes in our html files. So in that way, like it makes the changes much safer, because in our css what happens whenever we are changing any classes, and if we are using those classes in our html, so it will affect affect in whole other stuff when wherever we are using those classes. So in this sense, it like it makes like it feels much safer. And one of the thing like which is the benefit of tailwind css is like it remove unused classes from css. Like if we are not using any classes, tailwind automatically remove those, so it makes these like lightweight and more much faster website also. So this is very important. And that thing is which is like we can avoid repetition. Some like suppose we are using a button, and the button is used like a couple of times, like 2 or 3 times in one page. So we don't have to write those same class name in our html, like in inline html. We can specify those, we can extract those components and just use it. So it will help to reduce the repetition also. And yeah, as we are not writing any css styles, we are just using the classes, so it just makes the designing more faster than we are currently doing, which is writing css. And there is some disadvantage also remains by using like tailwind, like repeating css. Like I have told, like we can minimize it by using our apply variants or whatever, like extracting component. But still there is some issue with the repetition of css in tailwind. So and like complex html file, because that whenever we are using those classes in our html file, so it like it makes the html file much larger and bigger, as we are adding those classes in our html file. So it makes the html file actually bigger. And since we are adding those classes, it creates some readability issues. So I think Tailwind CSS, it has just a new for us. So I think in our come future, it will it will be working on this section, and it will be like very much which will not have those disadvantage. And yeah, it will be very good to work with. Yeah. So yeah, that's all from my presentation today.